The phenomenal new DB12 convertible blurs the line between exotic GT and supercar, but to what end? The new drop-top version of Aston Martin's flagship DB12 is stupendous, fast, loud, agile, and so beautiful it will make your soul ache. It is, in every sense of the overused word, an awesome car. Now that we have that out of the way, we can tell you the one thing that's arguably wrong with it. Britain targets Italy. What's wrong with the 2024 Aston Martin DB12 Volante may well stem from a shift in Aston Martin's direction. The company no longer wishes to be seen as a competitor for Germanic Brits Rolls-Royce and Bentley. Instead, it has set its sights southeast to Italy. New targets acquired, the supercars of Ferrari and Lamborghini. This seems to explain the biggest potential problem with the DB12 Volante, which is its rock-hard ride. Now, one of the things that makes the DB12 so stupendously awesome is that it puts that rock-hard ride to excellent use. The purpose of a stiff suspension is to keep the tires firmly on the ground so they don't lose traction, and holy hell does the new DB12 Volante do that. We can tell a lot about a car by where the manufacturer takes us to drive it. If the press preview is on the arrow straight roads of Miami, you can bet the suspension sucks. If it's in Phoenix, where there are still a couple of curves left over from World War II, it's not much better. Aston had us pick up the DB12 in Santa Monica, California, and directed us to go west on Pacific Coast Highway, then turn up into the hills above Malibu, where some of the best twisty roads in the country are there to be mastered. You know the roads, we were told. Go where you want. Be back in 3 hours and try not to bend up the cars. Point being, any PR pro worth the salt in their own tears only turns car critics like us loose on roads like that if they know their car is going to perform. And perform the DB12 Volante did. With 671 horsepower and 590 pounds-to-foot of torque on tap from the 4.0-litre, twin-turbo V8, basically the same mill found in the DBX 707, your choice of gear in the ZF8 speed automatic is irrelevant. There is no sweet spot, no noticeable turbo lag, there is only power, raw and brutish, the force times distance analog to freshly killed red meat. Stealth speeding in the Aston Martin DB12 Volante. That's not to say the transmission's sport program isn't good enough. Though if Aston is serious about this Lambo/Ferrari thing, it should think about a twin-clutch transmission. Full throttle shifts from the ZF8 speed automatic are harsh. Like all good transmissions, it does not downshift until the accelerator pedal moves at least some distance from the top of its travel, and doing so unleashes speed that builds quickly into license losing, and, on Malibu's curvy roads, Aston and life losing, range. You can make remarkably quick progress with the accelerator mealy cracked and the engine loafing just above idle. It is during this speeding, be it stealthy or bellowy, that you appreciate the benefits of that solid riding suspension. As the Aston PR rep said, we know these roads, and we know where to find the bumpy curves that will try to loosen a car's grip on the pavement and divert it from its intended path. Not in the DB12. When it sets its mind to keep its tires on the ground, nothing short of God driving a Liebherr crane could reduce those contact batches. But wait, there's more? But here's the thing, we observed this classically good racing behavior even before we engaged the 2024 Aston Martin DB12 Volante's sport mode. In its softest setting, labeled GT, this Aston will still hand most performance cars their own rear diffusers on a 24-karat gold platter. Turning the drive mode dial to sport merely increases the speed necessary to break the tires loose, from suicidal to homicidal. Sport plus ups that further to genocidal. Traditional luxury and new infotainment. Same for the interior. No one does elegance like the Brits, and the DB12 is an inebriating mix of thick-cut leather and open-pore wood. The control layout needs no improvement. In an age where some automakers use too many buttons and others don't use enough, Aston strikes a good balance, particularly for the important stuff. To wit, there are multiple ways to fine-tune the driving experience, with hard buttons for the 3-mode suspension and 3-mode exhaust. All that said, we could take a pass on the Porsche-style toggle shifter in the center console. It's possible, and not too difficult, for an errant passenger to knock the transmission into neutral. Still, we love you just the way you are. Most Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and McLarens for that matter, deliver raw speed at the expense of all else. The high-end Lambo Huracans feel like they run on a mixture of gasoline and caffeine, with the turbochargers blowing toots of cocaine into the intake, while the Ferrari 812 and McLaren 765 LT feel light-weighted to the point of fragility, arguably true in the case of McLaren. Sure, Aston Martin could build a car like that, but snuggle into the DB12's soft leather seats and it's obvious the thing's heart isn't quite in it. Also, the current crop of Ferraris don't ride quite this hard. Regardless, yes, the new DB12 Volante is an awesome vehicle and one that truly inspires awe in every way possible. 50 years from now, you will see it in car museums, and deservedly so. Still, we imagine making the car less hardcore would only improve it for most of the real people who ever drive it. A little more compliance could make the drop-top DB12 the star of the stable, an opulent supercar that any self-respecting HNWI would want to drive every day, and certainly worth leaving the 812 and the Huracan at home.